Hey guys, this is CK at CK Education, and today I want to explain the differences between the various college admissions admission options. Okay, like early action, regular decision, early decision, rolling admissions, early action, single choice, and so on. So hopefully this clears things up because people ask me this all the time. So when you apply to colleges in your senior year. So as soon as you become a senior, once you become a senior in high school, you apply to colleges. You can apply, and there are different deadlines for applying to colleges. So the first one would be regular decision. Regular decision is usually around January something, early January of your senior year. Okay, so that's regular decision. Now, when you apply regular decision, usually you should get your decision letters by, it could be March, April, okay, something like that. You also have what's called early action. And early action means you can apply earlier to get your decision letters back earlier. And usually the deadline for early action is November 1st. Now, some schools like North Carolina, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, they have an October 15th early action deadline. So not all schools have the November 1st, but the vast majority of schools have a November 1st deadline for early action. And early action means that you simply apply earlier and you'll get your decision letters back earlier, usually before Christmas. Now, again, there's always exceptions. Anything that I say is not relevant to 100% of the colleges. Okay, every college has their own. They can do whatever they want. But I'm just saying, in the vast majority of cases, this is true. Okay, so for example, just as an example, University of Maryland College Park has, they call it priority, but it's the same thing as early action. You apply by November 1st, but they don't send their decision letters out even for early action candidates until January, okay, mid to late January of your senior year. So that would be an exception as an example. But the vast majority of schools, if you apply by November 1st, early action, you get your decision letters back before Christmas. Okay, now early action, that's all it means. You apply early, you get get your decision letters back early. There's also early decision. Early decision is binding. It is legally binding. And what that means is you can only apply to one early decision school, by the way. So not all schools have them. Some schools have early decision. And that is, again, they have usually a November 1st deadline. But if you apply early decision, and if you get accepted to that school, regardless of how much money they give you or don't give you, you have to go to that school. And people say, well, what if I don't? What if I don't know, what if I just decide, change my mind, I don't want to go, I got accepted. But again, it's legally binding. So there's a hefty financial fee that you would have to pay to get out of that. Okay, it's a very difficult thing. You got to think very long and hard about, do I want to do early decision at a certain school? Okay, just to give you a very specific example. So one of my students many years ago decided that she wanted to apply early decision to George Washington University in DC. And so I said, are you sure about that? And she said, I think so. And she says, why are you asking me if I'm sure? I said, well, it's binding. And so that means if you get accepted, then you have to go. And she says, well, of all the schools that I applied to, if I get accepted to George Washington University, I would want to go there. I said, okay, that's good. But there's another question you have to answer. And this one I had to ask her mom. And I said, if your daughter gets accepted to George Washington University, early decision, and even if they give no financial aid, let's say they give no, free money, would you be willing to pay the full financial cost of attending that school? And that school, by the way, costs about $57,000 a year. Okay, this is with no financial aid, no scholarships. If you just went there and paid full price, it's like $57,000 a year. So anyway, very, very expensive school. So she says, well, if she gets in, we'll pay for it. So I said, okay, then you can apply early decision. Now, what happened? She did apply. She did get in, and she actually ended up paying very, very little. She got grants and scholarships and all kinds of things. So anyway, it worked out just fine. So that's early decision. You can only apply to one early decision school. If you get in, you must attend that school. Okay. And, another one is early action single choice. Very few schools have early action single choice, and it's usually a few of the Ivy League schools have early action single choice. And this is an early action. Okay, so you apply by November 1st, and it's not binding, so you don't have to attend that school if you get accepted. But if you do early action single choice for that specific school, let's say Princeton or something, you cannot apply early action to any other private school. Okay, that's the requirement there. So if you go early action single choice, as the word implies, single choice, that means you can only do early action to one school. Now, and you cannot apply early action to any other private school. You can apply early action to other public schools, but not private schools. Okay, so that's a sort of a different thing. That one is a more recent thing that has come up in the last several years. The last one I'll go over is rolling admissions, and you'll see this for some schools. Like Clemson University, I think is rolling admission, and some others. But rolling admission means that they have a certain time frame. From here to here, from this date to this date, you can apply anytime. You can apply anytime during that time frame. But it's a first come, first served admissions process. So as people apply, they'll look at it, they'll consider you, and they'll let them know if they got accepted or not. And so space starts filling up as they go. So when you have a rolling admissions school, you want to make sure that you apply as early as possible in that time frame, because spots will get filled up as they go. They don't wait until the very end and then wait for everybody to apply and then make their decisions. They will make decisions as they go. So hope that's clear. So it is to your disadvantage if you apply later and later in a school that has rolling admissions. So you want to apply as early as possible. Okay. One last thing, because this comes up all the time. Will my chances of getting into a school go up if I apply early? This is not so clear. This is not a clear-cut answer. I don't want to say yes or no. Okay. If you are not a highly qualified candidate for that school, it won't matter if you apply early or regular. You won't get in, okay? If you are a highly qualified candidate for that school, I think it's to your advantage to apply early, okay? And especially early decision for some schools, okay? So like, just as an example, UPenn, Johns Hopkins, for example, if you apply early decision and you are a qualified candidate, okay? So you're in the mix, you're competitive for that school. I think it is to your advantage to apply early decision, because those schools like to know who is committed to that school, and if we accept this kid, they will attend this school. They wanna know the numbers early, and they pick a lot of their incoming freshmen from the early decision pool. So I think that for those schools and others, if you're a good candidate, I think early decision does increase your chances. But again, you just have to, be careful with that and consider the entire picture, whether you want to, definitely apply to that school. And if you apply early decision to this school and you think you have no chance getting into that school, then that would mean you wouldn't have the opportunity to apply early decision to another school that you maybe would have a better chance of getting into. So you have to consider all those factors before you do it. So, but I hope that clears things up. If there are other questions regarding this that I haven't answered, again, please put it into the comments below and ask your questions, and I will see those and I'll be happy to answer those personally, okay? So, but I hope that clears that up. And until my next video, I hope you stay well.